It's Wednesday, the 6th of December 2023. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's get going. Story number 1, the Reserve Bank has kept the official interest rate on hold, and if it increases in 2024 will very much depend on whether the inflation rate keeps falling towards the central bank's target band.
As Michelle Bullock, the Reserve Bank governor, put it, the bank is resolute when it comes to inflation. The bank will keep looking at the global economy, the domestic economy, what's happening with inflation and employment, then make a decision. Now, this is the last meeting of the Reserve Bank Board this year, so it means we're pretty much off the hook at least until February next year. Mind you, we have had 14 rate rises in the past 19 months, adding nearly $2,000 per month to a $750,000 mortgage repayment. The Aussie dollar fell 0.25% against the US dollar after the decision was announced to be trading back under 66 US cents. That's because traders reckon the Reserve Bank's comments are what they call dovish, suggesting rates might not rise again. Bond yields, which are a reflection of interest rate expectations, also fell. Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers welcomed the announcement, saying Australia is making encouraging progress in the fight against inflation.
Sean, is the Reserve Bank happy with how the economy is going, I suppose particularly inflation?
The board statement released yesterday afternoon says the domestic economy over the past month has been broadly in line with expectations, and it notes that the October inflation reading shows inflation is continuing to moderate. But, and it's a big but, the Reserve Bank said the October reading didn't say much about services inflation, which is what the central bank is most worried about. Interest rates are definitely working, the bank says, and the impact of recent hikes will continue to flow through the economy. Bottom line, no more rate hikes till February at the earliest, and quite a few economists reckon there might not be any more rate hikes. Full stop. Some are even talking about rate cuts.
All right, on to story number 2 now, and a third non-citizen released from indefinite detention after last month's High Court ruling has been arrested, upping the political crisis hitting the Albanese government.
Victorian police yesterday arrested a former ringleader of a child exploitation gang. It came after a man was arrested in Adelaide on indecent assault charges, and in Sydney, a man was arrested for alleged minor drug offences. The opposition is calling for the resignation of Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill and Immigration Minister Andrew Giles over the arrests and the High Court decision. It's becoming a bit of a crisis for the government. The arrests come after 148 non-citizens were released from indefinite detention because of that order from the High Court. This final week in Canberra is being dominated by the government's handling of the consequences of that High Court decision. The government, with the support of the opposition, will pass laws by the end of this week enabling the preventative detention of any of the ex-detainees who have been convicted in a foreign or domestic court of a serious violent or sexual offence, which carries a penalty of either life in jail or at least 7 years.
Story number 3, King Charles III will make his first visit to Australia as monarch late next year, marking his and Queen Camilla's first visit in 6 years.
The Sydney Morning Herald and Age are reporting this. It will certainly be a test of the popularity of the sovereign. The most recent Resolve Political Monitor survey of support for becoming a republic, conducted in the weeks after Queen Elizabeth's death, found 54% of Australians said no and 46% said yes to Australia becoming a republic. Australia is one of 14 countries, including the United Kingdom, where Charles is head of state. Any royal visit would coincide with the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa. That's due to start on October 21 next year.
Okay, on to story number 4. The title for best-selling car of the year is a lot closer in 2023, with the 7-year winner, the Toyota Hilux, in a neck-and-neck race with the Ford Ranger.
Australians are on track, I like that, to buy a record number of new cars this year despite the cost of living pressures and high petrol prices. A record 112,141 new cars were delivered in November, putting the full year on track to hit 1.1 million sales. In November, the Ranger was the number one selling vehicle, and for the first 11 months of the year, the Hilux is ahead by just 379 units. Utes took out the top 3 spots in November. The Isuzu D-Max came in at number 3, while Tesla's Model Y electric SUV was the number 1 passenger car last month. Across all makes, Toyota is way ahead of number 2 manufacturer, selling 196 vehicles so far, more than twice as many as that number 2, which is Mazda. Then comes Ford, Kia, Hyundai and Mitsubishi. The fastest growing brand is easily Tesla, up more than 150% for the year, and now the 8th largest car brand in Australia in terms of sales.
All right, last one. Story number 5. There's a coffee shortage, Sean, in Vietnam, which is the world's largest grower of the robust Robusta variety used in instant drinks and espressos, and that's going to put pressure on prices across the board.
Vietnamese coffee exports are being squeezed by a smaller output, almost no stockpiles, and much stronger local demand. Robusta futures in London climbed to their highest level since at least 2008 earlier in the year on supply shortages. They also had the biggest gain last month since January, according to Bloomberg. Total coffee acreage in the country is probably about 600,000 hectares, according to the Vietnam Coffee Cocoa Association. Compared with the previous estimate of 700,000 hectares, farmers have cut down coffee trees for more profitable crops such as durians and avocados. Bottom line in all this, your daily coffee might be about to get more expensive.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Wednesday, the 6th of December, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed Business News wherever you listen to podcasts. And today's Wednesday, which means there is a new episode of our sister podcast, How Do They Afford That?, out today. That features me and Canna Campbell, the founder of Sugar Mama TV. And today we're joined in the studio by Canna's own money mentor, Peter Thornhill, who takes us through how he's managed to build a $10 million investment portfolio. It is quite a story. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.